Hi, this is Ria with the Happiness Playbook podcast series, and I'm just really excited to be back. I've been off for Christmas, the New Year, then just, catching up with my business and school, getting my doctorate, and just really excited to present to you another author that I met that through the Steve Harrison Maximize Your Book group that I'm in. And she is also on a really special journey promoting her books. And her name is Monique Gagné, and she is from Canada, my home country. So super excited to have her here with us and get to know a little bit about what she's doing. It's really also important for us because we're going to really start looking into financial well-being, this leaving this legacy of love. And she's going to talk more about the titles of her books. And also, we're going to dive into how health, right, our physical health is impacted by how we are and our beliefs around money and how we feel about our money. Because if we're not feeling safe, right, if we're not feeling like we have enough saved, if we're not managing our money, we can be in fear. We can be in like kind of a fight flight, like, oh no, what am I going to do all the time? So Monique's going to tell us more about that. She's the expert. I'm just excited to learn from her here today. So please, Monique, take it away. Tell us, what are your books? What are the titles and what are they about?
Well, the first book is actually, it's called Who Took My Money? I don't know if you can see it here. It's Who Took My Money? The reason for the title is to realize who actually did take your money. If you don't know where your money is, I think it's important to know where our money. And this book is actually based on a true story, based from my personal experience. And when I found out a few years along the way when I was a mortgage broker, that actually my father had taught my son how money works while they were working in the garage. And and my son became a financial advisor, and he's now at age 40 able to retire without having any problem with money. So also I have this one that came along. I don't know if you can see it well too. And this is the children's one. It actually is a coloring book, but it actually teaches all the important principle to the children. And it comes with this little magic pouch, because this little magic pouch, and we make kids believe in Santa. Why can't we make them believe in the magic money pouch?
Yes, and so in English, because that's the French translation, which yes, in Canada we are French and English speaking. But what is the English translation for our community here in Arizona
For
for the children's book?
for the children's book, it would be you got the I had the French one. Okay.
For all our French followers,
I didn't
he
even
has
realize.
it in French.
I have one in English in the closet. It's actually Alex's Dream with Money.
Yes, and I've already read this to my son who's 7, and we're already having these conversations. I just want to throw out there that I really do think that like the previous generations sometimes, or maybe even now, aren't teaching their kids early on about money, about these things that are so important. And kind of we're just sort of learning on our own and making mistakes. And I definitely did. I definitely did not learn about money growing up. So I really want to change that, right, as a business owner and all that for my kids. And so your book is great because you have the adult version to help me, and then you have the kids book, right, to help them. Can you tell us a little bit more about how financial well-being affects our physical health? Because I think a lot of times we're unaware of what it's sort of doing subconsciously if we're not feeling good about money.
Well, first of all, people have to understand what money is. Money is definitely a tool, but it's a valuable tool. Do you understand when I say value? And this is why people make all kinds of belief with what money really is. And once we understand what money is, our fear are going away, and fear can actually impact on our health dramatically. It can impact on our physical, on our health, on our mental and spiritual. So this is why we interconnect very well, because without a good understanding of what is really money, it can affect your health. I know someone that actually had knee problem, okay, big knee problem, and the doctor couldn't figure out what it was. And you know what? At the end of the day, it was because the gentleman had money issues that he didn't want to tell anyone because he was actually a professional making lots of money, and he didn't want anyone to know about this because he was flashing the big life. And it ended up that the problem was that because he was not telling anyone, he was keeping this to himself, his knee became very ill because of this. Once I was able to help him to figure out this and make a good plan with it, his knee problem went away.
That's amazing. And you had mentioned to me before when we were talking about blood pressure that it can, right?
Yes,
That you've
that's
seen
another
people
one.
as they like manage money better, their blood pressure come because you think about money, right? It's a tool, it's a foundation for, right? Safety, for having a roof over your head, for feeding yourself. I mean, it's very, so basic, but so important.
It is very important that's why we have to call it value, a valuable tool. So, but we have to associate the value in the proper way. And what is sad about our society, Ria, is that people do not understand three simple words, or they think they do, but they don't, which is earn, save, and spend, right? And you can't go spend, earn, and spend, save, and earn. It doesn't work that way because if you start by spending before you earn, there's consequences for it. And this is where you'll have to one day look at your credit card and say, boy, maybe I need to call Monique and have a debt snowball avalanche here because it's not fitting anymore, right?
It's true. And I think that there is such the way that we have Amazon, the internet, like there's always these things that you feel like you have to buy. And it's so easy because I work with addiction and trauma. And I see that a lot is cross addictions of people, spending a lot of money to try to good, to get that dopamine hit and putting it on cards and, kind of frantically and then sort of dissociating even, like you said, where's my money? I don't even know where it is. So I think that's very true. I mean, I think people don't even realize. And so how do you, in your book, how do you track money? What are the tools that you give people to help them?
Well, of course, we always talk about budget, but budget, what is budget really? People have to understand what a budget is. And most people, when they're taught budget like a number. Well, budget should not be a numbers, because if you just put numbers just to get rid of it and say, oh, well, I did my budget, it doesn't work that way. If you're going to go on I look at a budget like a GPS, okay? GPS is really important. You want to go to, let's say you're in Toronto, you want to go to New York. How are you going to do this? You're going to use your GPS, whether it's a physical one or a map. That's what you need. Well, that's what the budget is. And so the numbers that you have in front of you has to be in proportion for and realistic for what you want in life. First of all, and I have a class on a workshop on this tomorrow, is you have to know what you want. So you need a vision board. You need to know what you want and how you're going to get there. And I hope that it's going to happen. That's one thing. Everything you put onto your budget. There's one thing I say, and I can give you as a tip, is every number you put there, and you have to look at it and you say, is this making me happy? And if it's not, then just think of the mental health again. If it's not making you happy and you put this, or another thing is if you're in a relationship and you hide putting numbers there, this is where it impacts your life, your health, because you're in the wrong. And what do we do to actually fix? It's to always have good conversation when people are getting divorced. It's because of money, of course. Well, my little money pouch is so sad because it's not because of money, okay? It's because lack of conversation and mutual agreement and understanding that money is a tool and it's a valuable tool that we can actually do so much good with it.
And I think you touch on that, right? And I know with your butterfly wings, which hopefully we'll get to, just the love, right? The connection, the communication, right? Like being in agreement, not keeping secrets. This is all stuff we talk about in addiction all the time, right? Because again, people can, I do a MWASI, which is a money and work survey index, which really assesses how people sort of are about money and how belief systems play a part of that, their past, what they were raised with. And so we really dive into some of that. I'm a CMAT, so working with financial disorders as well. And that's a part of it, right? Like the belief systems. Well, we can change a belief because it also stands for BS. You know,
Yes,
we can change a belief, but
yes.
but we have to know it's there. So it's interesting that we were talking earlier about someone who was hoarding money but felt like unsafe about money, but actually had a lot of money, or people that maybe have no money and act as if they do, right? This right? There's this sort of like overspending or over like keeping everything and not using it and feeling unhappy. And it's like, okay, where's the middle ground here, right? And it sounds like your book has tools to really create that.
All of this. And one of them, my dad was a mechanic, and my story it's actually a conversation between my dad and my son. It's actually, and they talk to each other. And so you got the perspective of the older mindset and the young generation mindset into the book, which makes a lot of sense because the combination of the two makes the perfect match. And because you get the best of both worlds. Okay, so that's what's in the book. That's what I like.
There's a collaboration. I think when we first met, something you kept saying to me was collaboration. Like we need to collaborate. And I think that's real. That is real. And so I'm so happy to have you today. Do you want to talk a little bit about the butterfly wings?
Yes. Well, actually, the reason I came with the butterfly is when I started my teaching and coaching is I was using the butterfly as an example because we're in our everyday life, whereas we actually go onto this track of, I'm having.
Wait, I was thinking about like, as I brought up earlier, you had said like the physical health, financial health, spiritual health, like love, relationships, community is sort of what comes to mind, right? The different parts of the wing, and really thinking about like how all of those have to be in alignment. We have to be doing some work in those
Exactly.
different areas of our lives.
The four wings is important in your body because it's actually money, love, and self-love to understand. Health is actually your physical, mental, and spiritual love. And time management often has an impact on your life, on your with your money relationship, with your love relationship, you know. So that's why they interchange in infinity with each other. And if you have a little flaw in one of your wings, you know, who's the right person to help you? And we always blame money for it, but when is it money's fault?
And I think that you're right on. I think that we can set ourselves up to have sort of intimacy issues that sort of replicate the level of intimacy maybe we grew up in, or, you know, like we can kind of avoid relationship or avoid, you know, taking care of our health, or, you know, or get I have to work all the time, you know, even work addiction. And, you know, we can kind of use these things to not be connected to ourselves and others, which again is very addictive. Because some people use money as power, and right, and that there's that whole interlock too. So there is this piece of really taking care of yourself spiritually, right? Self-love, self-care. So you're not using money. Like you said, it's valuable, it's a tool, but it can also be misused.
Yes. And you know what? When you see people that have the big car, the flashy stuff, and you know what, and you know, they're your neighbors, and you say, how did they get all this? How did they get all this money? Well, is it really their money? Okay. Or it's borrowed money, and one day it's not there anymore. Well, you can't borrow forever. There's consequences. You know, when you have to, I'd love to have everyone that I actually help and meet to have a millionaire mind, because millionaire are usually your neighbor that has the normal life and no flashy, but you know what they have? They're always happy. They have the stress is not there. It's like, and they're the one that lives until 90, hundreds. Okay.
Yes, I definitely, I had this experience. I don't know if you've had this experience of marketing a book, is that like I'm enjoying the journey. I get
Yeah.
to meet you. We get to talk about our books. We get to talk about helping people. But when I was like, oh, I've got to make all this, I had all this pressure, right? I've got to get it out there. I got to get everybody by. I was not having fun. That it took the joy away. And I was like, no, if I give myself like 3 years and just give it time, and you talk about time. So can you tell me a little bit more too about time and how you teach people about time management?
Well, the time is where we all have a little flaws, and that's mine. Yeah, I keep always have to watch my time wing, because
Mhm.
when you have and I believe to have a big heart, and so it's hard to say no, and I have to learn to say no, because whether we understand it or not, we have 24 hours. No more,
Yes.
no less, every single day. If there's a gift that is given to you every single day, it's
Mhm.
time.
Yes, I think that's why I like people have said as older as I was growing up, as you get older, time goes faster. And I started to really feel that after having children. Like it just sort of felt like I'm taking care of my clients, I'm taking care of my kids, my business, my book. And then where's time for me? It's the end
And
of the day.
you know
It's
why?
time to go to bed. So
You know why? It's
yeah.
because when we're a child, okay, when we're a child, 24 hours is long, because
Mhm.
we only have so much tasks to do, and
Mhm.
we're only asked as a child to do this. But
Mhm.
when we get older, we put some on our plate, we put more, and depending on the heart you have, you tend to take over some of someone else's plate to help them, and you think you're making them a favor when sometimes you don't. My philosophy is I taught my children how to fish. I gave them the fish at the beginning, showed them how to fish, and now they know how to fish.
I'm a big fan of teaching people how to fish. Don't do it for them, teach them how to do it. It's
Exactly.
very, very helpful. And so there's so many valuable, pieces to your book. I was scrolling through it. I'm going to read it cover to cover. I even like confronting my own, right? Like fears around like even looking at money. I know like for me, I can just be like, oh, like I love counseling. I love helping people. I love writing. I love all these things. And then when it comes to finances, there's like belief systems, intergenerational trauma. I think like, you can start, because I studied the belief system piece, and there can be like if parents or grandparents went through World War and had Great Depression, and there's a scarcity mindset, right? Or we've got to
Yes.
keep all the cans of food. We got to do all these things, and so that can really impact how we are with money, even subconsciously, very much. And so bringing those belief systems conscious. Do you have any methods that you use in your book around that, around the belief system piece?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. The belief system, it starts, and that's at the beginning of the book. Actually, just to tell you, Ria, the book is it's really engaging. It's not a dry thing. It's a story. It has story, but it has point of tips and tricks, just like an everyday there's no big words in there. It's very easy, and children can even read it. So it's simple. We make
Yeah.
it simple, relatable. And for yours, it's a mindset. You have to change your mindset. Once you change, what do I think? Do I think money is dirty? Do I do this?
Mhm. Mhm.
So try to think of what is your relationship with money, because the relationship you have with money impacts the relationship of your entire other wings, which is your health, love, and time. So it is the base, because people put so much pressure on our little money.
Yeah, you know what I finally did do, which was a big breakthrough, was hire a bookkeeper and allow that I don't have to also be the expert in everything, because
Mhm.
I have so many balls I'm juggling. If I try to be the expert in everything, I'm just going to drop everything. So it's like, where in my life can I like allow like you and my bookkeeper to teach me so I know more, but also to say I don't have to do all of it, because that's not my favorite part, but I do need to know what's going on, right? Because I don't want someone stealing my money. I don't know where my money went, right? But
Yes.
but I think there is that piece too, is like I need a foundation, which you offer in your book, which I'm so excited about. And I don't have to be in your job, right? I can be in my job. And then I can collaborate with you, right? And that's the biggest piece, right? People need to get help. And I think there's so much shame, right? There's shame around. And so
Yes.
when shame is an emotion that shuts us down, But what I can personally say is that when I have made breakthroughs, when I have made steps to ask for help, when I have started to learn and to grow and to overcome and all of that, and I'm still doing that, but the shame moves away and I feel better. It's
Yes.
action of learning and changing is what moves the shame. And the shame is just too heavy, right? We've got to like, some of that is like intergenerational trauma. Like, I don't have to carry all that, right? So just like move that out and go, what are simple acts? Like you're talking about your book, I can get Monique's book and I can start doing the steps. And so many people need this. So I really am grateful to have this time with you. I know we have to round up soon because you are on your journey with your book, doing your podcast, and how is that for you, like even with your financial stuff, and what has really brought you to want to get this book out in the world? Because I know for you, you don't have to, right? This isn't like, oh, I'm going to pay my bills with this is something this is a passion project, which is mine as well, my book as well. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I had two choices, either retire or make the world better. So I decided to make the world better because I see all my friends, at the age I am now, I could retire and financially I can. But when I looked at what do I want to do as for my time? Because we all have 24 hours. And my dream is to be able to, even if I help one other person to make their life better, I know I have done something good. So that's what I want to do with my retiring. And that's how I see it, because I think there's so much, people have to understand that we're as human, we're emotions. That's the first thing. And the emotion has to be on the positive side, because if it's not on the positive side, it affects health, love, time, and we blame money, which is
Mhm.
not money's fault. We just have to understand that money is a tool, and that how a valuable tool that we work and we respect. And once we understand that every emotion, and if there was something that came from our background negative, we have to switch and change the pattern. And it's one step at a time with little things, not the big things, but the small things that makes matters.
Yeah, and I really encourage like this again, because there's often shame and beliefs and all these things that you don't even realize are in the way. And when you're blaming yourself, or you're noticing you're blaming money, the way out is like taking a step back and not blaming anything and just going, okay, what can I do?
And
What can I
say,
do today?
what do I think? What do I think? What's my relationship with money? Why do I think this way? How can I change a negative thought? And it is in the book. There's an exercise to do in the book, changing negative mindset to positive mindset. That makes one of them that everybody says, oh, well, I'm not good with money because I haven't been taught, neither by my parents or school. Well, you're now an adult. You learn other things. Let's debunk the myth. That's a myth. Let's debunk it and let's start fresh. And then when you have a fresh mindset, things, because it's, and one thing I always say, Ria, is, sometimes I have to debunk my little computer because it gets too full. So I have to debunk to get new things. So you got to take the negative out in order to get the right mindset in. And that's,
Yeah, I was just thinking it would be so cool to do a course, right, that combines the health and the wellness and the financial, because I have the Mawasi survey that I do, and like that training, and kind of bring in sort of the mental health and the financial as we talk about collaboration, and just doing a course that's affordable, but also like,
we have
like,
to do a workshop on this.
yeah,
It's so important. I think,
yeah.
I know there's
Mhm.
such a need out there that we can do something really well together. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I think so. So anybody that's interested, we are going to be collaborating, potentially workshop course, something for you guys. Again, please comment, please tell us what you need around this, because we can create it together for you. I already have a course, Living a Rise Up Mindset, which is where my book came from, the Happiness is Inside Job Playbook. And it really is like taking these different parts of the health and physical and well-being and the financial, and starting to have tools and techniques to just work through it, like simple ways where it's not overwhelming, right? Where it's like, I can do this thing today and check, that feels better.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this was so great. I really appreciate you coming today and sharing a little bit with us, and we'll be definitely in touch to collaborate, and we'll see what feedback we get from the community. And thank you again.
I just wanted to say that people can go to my website, gagné.com. It's in the process of being changed for people to understand better what I do. But it has the book there, and it has some type of information at this point, but it'll get much better. I have someone that is working on that.
Wonderful. And your books are available on Amazon.
Yes.
Wonderful. So grateful that you came. Just can't wait to collaborate with you more.